subscribe to the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Jr., driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota Nascar Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, this is Dylan Smith. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Amber Colvin. I'd like to thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing. We've got Roger Carter and Chase Austin already on the line here with us. Hi guys, how's it going tonight? Who wants to be first?
Go right ahead, Roger. You got some good news. Okay, I'll go ahead. Yeah, we're real excited about Daytona. We got some really good things going on for our race team. I'm going to be driving the number 97 myself. We currently are working with a movie production company that's filming a major motion picture that's going to come out next spring. It's a racing-based picture. It's called Roadrunner the Movie, and it's just we're looking forward to that. I actually have a part in the movie myself, and we're supplying quite a few of the cars for the movie. So, and of course, we got Chase there brought No Fear on for us, and we have Union Bank and I-96 Speedway. So we're real excited about things. We're thinking both our cars will run real good at Daytona, and they probably won't qualify real well. The Dodgers just don't do well by themselves, but once they get in the crowd, they're pretty sporty. So I think we'll be okay.
Oh, that sounds great. This is Terri O'Connell here, and I'm with Jack Dodson over here. So, Jack, what do you think?
I saw the pictures of the car the other day on Facebook. I think you got a good looking car. And where are you getting your motors from?
We're running actually Arrington motors.
Right.
Fortunately, we do not have the latest R6 motor, but in plate configuration and this new intake, it shouldn't hurt us too bad once we're in the draft and stuff. So, but we're still using Arrington stuff. We own all our own motors, and we just let them service them and so forth.
Well, that's good. So, what else is it? Just for the 2 cars for Daytona?
For Daytona, it's just the 2 cars. We are running 2 cars, it looks like, the full season with a combination of Chase and No Fear in at least 9 races. We're hoping that turns into a little bit more. And then we have some various other drivers in the car. Joel Willem's going to be definitely in the car. He's a very talented driver. In fact, he worked very good with us to help us make this Daytona thing happen. So we're going to be running 2 cars the whole season. 3 at Talladega, we can see that already. Possibly 4. I'm hoping it sticks to 3. We did 4 last year, and that was quite a challenge. So, but we have a full slate ahead of us. We've really stepped up our program. We're really hoping to run in the top 10 a lot this year to get out of that 15th place bracket where we kind of seem to be hanging around. So we think we made the changes, and we think we can take that next step.
Oh, that sounds great. That's great. So after Daytona, Mobile is the next race after Daytona?
Yeah, Mobile's the next race, and that what we have in the lineup for there so far is Chase Austin and Joel Willman. So who will be racing. So.
Cool. Absolutely.
What made you decide to stay with the Dodge instead of moving to something else for this year?
Well, that's an interesting story. Most people don't know that we started out with Dodge in 2006. I used to have a GM deal when we did some cut stuff back in early 90s to the mid 90s, and we've been with GM ever since till 2006. So I kind of got hooked up with Everhand. I was doing some of their development stuff. And I've been with Dodge ever since, and they used to help us with sheet metal and certain things that Nick Tucker brought along because he worked over there and was a development driver for him. And so Dodge has been good to us. They're the only ones that helped after after GM went away, and so we're just trying to be loyal to them. I'm really hoping that they come on and help us a little bit. There's some talk of that, because we're going to stay strong with them at least another season with ARCA. If we do any cup or not nationwide stuff like we have planned, it probably will be with Chevrolets. So
Right.
that's our plan there. But right now in ARCA, we're definitely going to stick with the Dodge.
Great. Absolutely. So Chase, you on the line with us there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
All righty. So I know you're looking forward to getting down there and getting going. So you guys done any testing?
Yeah, we actually we went up to Orange County about a week ago and tested down there. Myself, Roger, Nick Tucker, and some crew members, and yeah, we had a good time. We had planned to test before that, but we had the cold spell hit, so we put it off a few days, and then we got lucky and got a day in the 70s, and had a lot of fun, and got used to the heavy cars again. Been quite a while, so that was
Right.
just took a little bit to get used to and acclimated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't guess you knocked the fence down or anything.
No, everything was good. We did have a little mishap on the last lap. I got a little squirrely and spun it right there at the very end, blew a tire, but didn't hit anything.
That's what counts.
So are your cars prepared for and ready to go for Daytona?
What's that, sir?
Is all your cars prepared and ready to go to Daytona?
Yeah, everything's ready to go for Daytona. We just got one car that needs to be wrapped yet, which is mine, and that should be done this weekend. Other than that, everything is ready to load and get on out of here. And poor old Chase there, we didn't tell him what the tires he had on there at Orange County. Probably had about 180 laps on them.
Oh,
Want to spoil it with new tires, so.
Exactly.
Well, you got to keep them drivers honest. You let them, just you don't tell them everything.
Don't spoil them either.
No.
Yeah, that's right. About anybody can drive on stickers, you stick them on some old wore-out tires and see what they can do, right?
That's exactly right.
All right, now who? If we come down to a last lap between Chase and Roger, is there any team orders there?
Well, no. That'll be every man for himself for sure. Me and Galen, I hope, have that situation at Daytona. So
yeah.
Just as long as the cars come home all in one piece.
yeah, we're hoping so because, like I say, with having to take 3 to Talladega, having to build any more at this point would really not be a good thing. I had the fortunate pleasure of destroying one of our good speedway cars last year at Talladega on the right front wheel, so I hope that don't happen again.
Right. Absolutely.
So the draft down at Daytona and Talladega really plays big there. How is the Dodge compared to the others in the draft?
The Dodge seems to do very well. If you get your cowling correct and your air intake correct, which seems to be the hardest thing with these cars, if you get your package right where it draws enough air, the car stuck up really good. And I think we got 2 that'll do that. I'm a little concerned about mine, but I know the 40 car is exceptionally well. We were 12th overall testing down there. My cars needs a little bit. We did some things to it. I hope it helped it. In the draft, the number one thing, if you can suck up to the other car, that's 3/4 of the battle. If you're riding around there and you just can't pull up to them, you're 10 car lengths back and the car won't suck up, then you're in trouble. So I'm hoping, most of the time the Dodge, when they're in the crowd, they're great. So that's, I'm really hoping that that's the case with these 2.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, now I-96 Speedway on the hood of your car. Where is that located?
That's in Lake Odessa, Michigan, and I have a couple hometown connections in this race. Union Bank is a hometown sponsor. They're from Michigan. I went to high school in Lakewood, Michigan, and they came on board, and we're hoping to do a lot more with them this year. I actually went to school with the president of the bank, and he's just a super guy, and he's trying to put some things together for us for the rest of the season that are looking pretty promising, and we're going to work with that, and I'm hoping that I can run 7 to 10 races myself at least. So, and I'm very glad to have them on. I thought it was very. My hometown has been extremely supportive of me, I thought that's pretty good of them. So I'm trying to get back to them too. We're going to do some things when we go up there for Berlin in Michigan, so in MIS. So.
All right, Chase, are you going to be doing any other racing other than the ARCA cars this year, or anything else online for you?
Well, we had originally looked into doing some Pro Cup stuff, and then maybe a few select truck races. We're talking to Roger about trying to keep everything in house versus outsourcing it, and and right now that seems like the logical thing to do. And we've got No Fear involved, and some other sponsors that have just signed on TV Optical Solutions and No Fear Energy Drink and Outdoor Cap. And we've also got Fane Jeans involved, and all those have come together, and we're doing a No Fair Driver Challenge that we're going to be doing in Kentucky, and Roger can tell you about that. And, so everything's coming together, so it's just, taking baby steps and kind of, letting the sponsor get their toes wet and, kind of growing as we go.
Absolutely.
And the No Fear Driver Challenge is a really great program that what you can do is if you're a local short track driver or have some experience in racing and you want a shot at driving an ARCA series, we're going to Kentucky on May 23rd and 24th. The cost is $3,500, and you can enter into this, and with that you get 2 full days of training, which are pit stops, basic chassis setup, car control, and then you get on the big speedway for a couple of days to learn how to drive an actual ARCA car. The cars that we're bringing are not school-type cars. These are 850 horsepower ARCA cars. They are our race cars. And the person that wins the overall challenge, and it's not just about speed, it's how they are with all the things put together, we're going to take that person and run them in 2 ARCA races, 1 short track and 1 speedway. So it's a pretty good deal for somebody that wants to try and go to the next step and get some training and have a shot at getting a ride in a car, which is pretty hard to do these days.
What do you think, Terry? Think you can get out there and show the boys?
Well, I've shown them my entire life, so I don't think it'll be any problem this time. Yep.
So we're really looking forward to that. We think that'll be a really good program. We're going to do hopefully another one this year as well. Chase is working on some things that we may end up doing some nationwide even before this is over with, as far as out west. So.
Oh, that's great.
All right, we got a question from the chat room. It says that I hear your team cook is James Lupo. Is he as good as he says he is?
Well, I'm going to guess that's James Lupo that sent it.
Yeah, it sounds like something James would do, actually. It's pretty funny.
No, yeah, James does a good job for us. He takes care of things. He cooked for us at Pocono last year and did a very good job. We're looking forward to having him at Daytona with us.
So what's James's specialty? Fried chicken or?
He does a lot on the grill with chops or steaks or things like that. So he's very talented. For what he has to work with at the racetrack, you'd be surprised how good the food is. So.
Right.
And I got him really working hard this with this deal because there's probably about 30 of us before it's done, and we have a lot of guests and people from the movie who are actually doing some pictures and things and film for the movie there. So he's going to have to deal with all of them too. So I hope he's prepared to work.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, he's also cooked for a good friend of mine, Robert Richardson Jr. in the Nationwide Series too. So I knew about him as well.
Yeah. I like Robert's a great guy. I know Robert fairly well. So.
Yeah.
And I still haven't heard from him if he's going to run Daytona yet or not.
I don't know what he's doing. I know I talked to Carl Long today, and he was working over there for a couple weeks, and I guess they were planning on getting something together for Daytona, but I don't know if they ever did or not.
Yeah.
We will know when the day rolls around, I reckon. Or until he texts me, one of the two.
And it's getting very close to Daytona time.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So when you guys hit it down, Roger?
We're going to leave Tuesday. Everything's getting ready to leave out Tuesday morning. So that's when the hauler's leaving, we're leaving ourselves, and be ready to unload on Wednesday morning.
Right.
Do y'all practice Wednesday?
No, just tech. And we practice on Thursday. So Wednesday's just all tech. And if you've ever experienced the Daytona inspection deal, even for ARCA, it's pretty intense for us. So you got to make sure all your ducks are in a row. You usually have to take your cars back 2 or 3 times. So it's an all-day event.
Absolutely.
They want to pick on you, you know.
So on Thursday, it's just you and the shootout cars will basically be on the track on Thursday, right?
Yeah, just us and the shootout cars, correct.
Right. How much test time do they give you when you get down there?
I think we have 2 hours total.
Right, that's not much.
I think that's on Thursday, and then we have another hour, I think, on Saturday before the race, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Which I can tell you right now, both my cars, once we do our initial practice and we qualify these things, they won't see the racetrack again until a green flag, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Got tangled up there in a mess back in 2010, I think it was. I'm not going to do that again. So
yeah, that's it. Put it in the garage, put the tarp over it, and wait. Absolutely. Cool.
Chase, how many times have you run at Daytona?
I haven't ran at Daytona. I did some stuff, years and years ago. Went down there and tested the car, but never actually ran anything down there as far as a race.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll probably win the thing.
Our first super speedway race is actually going to be Talladega in May. We're going to do Mobile, and then I think Talladega's after that.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
All right, well, we appreciate you calling in and letting us know what's going on, and I'd like for you to go ahead and thank your sponsors and everything before we go.
all right. Well, I'd like to Union. Go ahead, Chase.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I'd like to, thank Roger first of all, for helping us put this thing together, and he's been a kind of a godsend to us, and him and his wife Dana and the whole team, and we've got No Fear apparel, we've got No Fear energy drink, Fame jeans, Achievia optical eye solutions, outdoor cap, and we've got a couple more that we're working on, and just want to thank everybody for being involved, and it's truly a blessing.
And I definitely like to back that up, and Chase, we're definitely glad to have you. I'd like to thank No Fear because they're going to be a big part of our race team, and Chase as well. Definitely want to thank Union Bank, I-96 Speedway, KSS Productions, and Roadrunner the movie. And hopefully we have a great season, and we sure do appreciate you guys having us on, and we'd be more than welcome to come back anytime you'd like to have us.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck to you at Daytona.
Thank you, sir, and we will hopefully have a good race there. We're looking forward to it.
All right, have a good one.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Cool beans.
The only problem is, I hope TJ hasn't been trying to call in.
Well, he'll get back with us.
Well, I did text him the secondary number too.
Sure.
If anybody wants to call in and chat with one of our guests, we've got a new line, 757-609-RACE. That is 757-609-7223.
So call in, and we'll we might allow you to talk to Roger when you call in.
To me, it's talk to them.
Absolutely. Well, I think Speed Weeks kicks off next week.
Yep.
It's quite amazing, actually.
I know my son he's leaving Thursday.
Yeah.
But their car, they don't have a car in the shootout.
Right.
But they have a car for qualifying, so they have to go down on Thursday with everybody else.
Mm.
But I know that they are working night and day right now trying to get ready to go. So.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all good. It's all fun though. It's one of those things. You spend all winter looking forward to this, and
I wish I was going to be there because I really would like to be there for this one.
Yeah, me too.
Well, why don't you go down there like you did before?
Well, I've been thinking about it, but I got other things coming in line right now.
Right.
You got that 2-week thing to send in beforehand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what's going on? What's the latest gossip? What's the big get that's going on out there? NASCAR, World of Outlaws, IndyCar.
Did you get JJ's numbers yet?
No, I did not get JJ's numbers yet, but I know Clint's car was in there, was in the wind tunnel on Tuesday.
Yeah.
they had their car there Tuesday. So I'll know something soon about how that worked out.
JJ's going to be on your poop side. You know that, right?
Right.
No, did anybody notice what they were talking about, the reallocation of the prize money for NASCAR this coming year?
I didn't see that.
No, hadn't heard about that yet.
Well, they're the last 5 positions out of the 43 car field.
Well, if they're starting Parkers, they're going to be
losing money, and they're reallocating it to the
wow,
top part of the finishing orders.
So this is going to make the guys have to race.
If you finish last, it's going to be $4,000 less than what you were making last year.
Unbelievable.
And there was a lot of talk and a lot of complaining about that this week.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, actually. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make them run more of the race and compete. But they're still going to need the cars,
That's like the guy said today. I was listening to a friend of mine talk on Race Talk, on one of the Race Talk shows.
Right.
And he said you got to have the slower cars to go with the faster cars. And you can't do anything about it. You got to have a full field. So
you just do. You just got to have a full field to make it
TJ?
happen.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that they've been arguing about. So
Right.
I just tried to call you, but I went to your voicemail. So
I think we got T.J. Fischer on the line there. Hopefully we can get him hooked on here in a second or two. But yeah, it's a difficult thing to try to balance car count,
if you went to the answering
sponsors.
machine, I have a computer.
And actually, the commitment the start and park guys make to get there, because they make a big commitment just to get there themselves.
Well, the thing about the start and park, if that was just a start and park thing, they were going just to start and park.
Right.
But you do a guy like Tommy Baldwin who did the start and park,
Right.
but he built his whole company.
He built
off
his
it.
company up to that point.
And now they got sponsorship, and they're going to be running for.
Yeah, they're going to run for the.
Scott Riggs did a lot of start and parking for
Robert. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see how that works out.
Let's talk racing. How you doing, TJ?
Good. How about you guys?
We're doing good.
Great. We're good.
So how's things going down in your world at racing?
Well, they're starting to take off now. We got a really nice schedule ahead of us this year, so yeah, it's definitely moving forward from when we started last year.
All right, and I was reading when I was going through your Facebook page or whatever, I was reading where you're part of the Jeff Andretti coaching group. Tell me a little bit about that. I heard something about that one time before.
Yeah, he last year he contacted us about wanting to coach me. We had a couple contacts with him that they knew him and stuff like that. So he contacted us, wanted to know a little bit about me, and we started talking. And he wanted to be my driver coach, and kind of it's just about overseeing everything I'm doing as a driver. I also have an engineer named Eric Purcell, and he's an engineer. He was an engineer for Team GDT in Star Mazda last year. Not sure what he's doing this year, but so he's our engineer, and they work hand in hand with Eric's mostly. He handles the setup and works with me with that, and then Jeff is all driver coaching, and he helps me interpret anything that I have on track. He can help me interpret that to the engineer, and then that'll help the setup more because I'm still learning the car and how to interpret it to him.
Is this your second year in Mazda racing?
Yeah, we tested a Star Mazda back in 2011, and then jumped into Formula Mazda for last year. So yeah, this will be my second.
Well, how did your season go last year with your first year in the Formula Mazda?
It was definitely a learning curve, big learning curve. The beginning was just about figuring out how to drive a car. It was a big difference from karting. What I took from karting was I learned the fundamentals of racing and all the passing and stuff like that, but it was just totally different dynamics of the car, with shocks and We got aero packages now. It's a lot of stuff, and then shifting too. So it was a big change in the beginning, but with Eric and Jeff, we got a lot of stuff done pretty quickly, and we were getting on pace for the fast guys. And then probably the highlight was the FCC race with Indy at Sonoma, and we placed third then, which was a national championship for that sanctioning body. So that was definitely showed results for that year, I think.
Cool beans. Tell us a little bit about your karting background. Where did you race? Did you run shifter karts? What kind of karting background do you have?
Well, I started out really young. My dad used to race karts, so I was always at the track with him at Baker's up in Oregon.
Right.
And he got me a kart when I was probably 6, and I was racing cadets. And for a little while I gave it up just because we were moving around. We moved to New Hampshire for a couple of years and then moved to California. So I didn't really have a lot of time to race then. And then right around like 11 or 12, I just really had the bug to do it. And so we just got all the equipment that we already had and went out to the track, and that was it. Did cadets and then Yamaha HPV2 stuff, and then right into Tag Senior. So that's probably where I did the most national stuff was in Tag Senior.
Right, right. Cool beans.
Yeah, and also we did a lot of road tag stuff too. Towards the end, when I was doing karting, it was Gators Challenge in the Americas, which was there was a bunch of people there from Canada, Mexico, South America. I mean, a lot of good drivers there. So I think that's where I really honed my skills in karting.
Right. Cool beans.
All right, you what team do you drive for?
For karting?
Yeah, no, for your Formula Mazda.
It's called EFM Racing. It was just founded by Eric Purcell, who's my engineer now, and it's basically just an operation with us, and we got a mechanic and just right out of a little trailer, and it works out really nicely. So yeah.
Or do you do a lot? There's a lot of road courses, and that you don't have very many ovals in that, right?
No, we haven't done any with the Formula Mazda.
Yeah. What's your schedule look like? What kind of tracks? Where's the tracks you're going to race at? And
this year is going to be a challenge just because we're doing a bunch of tracks I've never been to before. So it's all going to be about learning the track as quickly as possible and getting the preparation done before we even get to the track on the sim. We were just 2 weekends ago, we were at Fontana, Autoweek Speedway, and we ran a part of the oval and then went into the road course. So that was an exciting race for sure. And then in March we'll be in the new F1 track in Austin.
Right.
Circuit of the Americas. So that'll be a lot of fun. It looks like there's like 25 to 30 Formula Mazdas, and then in the whole class, because they run a bunch of cars together in that, and I guess there's going to be like 80 cars in it. So
right.
That's going to be crazy.
Kind of like the Grand Am in American Le Mans, where they combine all the classes.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, and they got it's just all Formula cars. So
cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then we'll be racing at tracks like Mid Ohio, Road America. Not sure if we'll be at Road Atlanta.
Yeah.
But we'll be back at Infineon, which is my home track.
Right.
And then PIR, which I did a lot of races at last year. So those are the only two tracks are Sonoma and PIR that I've ever been to. And then Laguna Seca, Pacific Raceway in Seattle, and then Buttonwillow and Thunder Hill. So it'll be definitely a good test.
Let's talk racing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So where are you looking to go with your racing
Hang on a second.
in the
Still got
future?
One driver on the other line, and we'll pull you up in just
My goal is
a minute,
IndyCar.
May throw
I want to follow up the Mazda Road to Indy,
All right.
eventually make it into IndyCar and be racing
Oh, okay.
500.
Guess I won't mess you up.
Right now we're working towards racing in Pro Mazda next year. We were looking at racing in USF 2000, but I was just basically too tall for the cars. I'm like 6'3",
Right.
almost 6'4", so it was tough to fit me in them. They're really slim cars.
Right.
They're made for smaller people, so we just decided, and with money and all that, we just decided to do another year of Formula Mazda and make it a really big year with a lot of races across the country and stuff like that. So
Right.
it'll prepare me well for Pro Mazda.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tommy Kendall and you have the same, about the same height. But Tommy went on and made a great career for himself in Trans Am and Grand Am. So you just keep plugging. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough being tall like that, but it's definitely, it wouldn't take away from anything. I think
No.
it doesn't change anything. It's just if I can fit in the car or not.
Yeah, you just have to crunch up and get in there and go on with it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. When we were doing the test, we did the test at Indy in October, and like Indy Lights and Pro Mazda were there, and it was just like I was like, basically I had to hold my feet backwards the whole time I was in the car, so I wouldn't like be pressing the pedals,
Right.
you know, like without meaning to. So that was really hard.
Yeah. Well, the more and more you move up and advance, they can build the cars around you, so you just keep plugging at it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, it was just testing with teams, so
Yeah.
They really couldn't do a custom fit per se, but yeah.
All right, but we'll give you a chance now to tell us about your sponsors. Thank you, sponsors, and everything before we let you go.
All right, well, I'd like to thank Jeff Andretti Coaching Group, EFM Racing at Krystal, Raspin Racing, my dad, and anybody that's been helping me so far. Excel Fast Graphics, Bell Racing, LMP, all those guys are tremendous support so far. And also GMI. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and keep us informed of how you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we always appreciate it. We'll let you get doing whatever you're going to do tonight.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Hi, TJ.
All right. Right.
Get it.
Dylan Hutchison, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing real good.
Right.
Glad to have you on to Let's Talk Racing.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here on Let's Talk Racing, man.
All right, well, good. Well, tell us a little bit about your background, about where you got started and everything, so we can get a little information on you.
Started racing in quarter midgets when I was about 8 years old, and I won the 2007 Dirt Grand Nationals in that. And then I moved to half-scale mini cups after when I was about 11, 12, and I got fourth in points in that year. And then I moved to 2/3 scale baby grands, which have a 1200cc Yamaha street bike engine. And the first year running that, I got a rookie of the year, and then the second year I won the championship. And then at 15 is when I went to late model and won rookie of the year. And then 16 was my first K&N race at Roseville. And the first year I raced K&N, it was actually the last race of the season. It was just kind of getting my foot in the door and then me ready for the whole season that I ran last year. And then also what made it a lot easier for me to get into racing is that I'm a third-generation racer with my grandpa on my dad's side racing boats and being the first one to go 100 miles an hour, and then my grandpa on my mom's side racing both dirt bikes and rally cars. And then
then my dad racing top fuel dragsters, top fuel boats, sprint cars, speedway bikes, and dirt bikes. And then on top of my grandpa and my dad owning an engine shop called Rex Hutchison Racing Engines, and my grandpa being a diesel mechanic on my mom's side. So pretty much my whole family's been involved in racing and has some automotive backgrounds, and I was just kind of the next piece to the puzzle.
Well, last year you were doing the K&N West racing. How did things go for you last year?
Things went pretty good. I mean, the only bad part is that we didn't make every single race. I think that was the only really big setback. But I mean, overall, I mean, the new tracks that I had to go to and the fastest speeds I was running at with the bigger, heavy car, I mean, wasn't too bad at all. I mean, I was running as high as 4th place in Las Vegas, and I mean, every race I could run with the top 15 easy and top 10 every once in a while. So I mean, it didn't go horrible, but I mean, it could have been a little better here and there. But I mean, I think as a rookie season and everything, I think it went really well. I think overall as a team and as me driving skills, kind of getting used to the bigger cars, I think that, I mean, it was a good year, and we're really looking forward for this year.
What are your plans for this year? You going to stay in the K&N West?
Yeah, that's the plan. We're definitely going to make the first couple races and see kind of how it goes from there. If I'm doing really well, then we're going to try to hit every race, and then if not, then we're just going to hit the races that we can. But I mean, yeah, is to do the best we can in the K&N series and hopefully maybe get a top 10 finishing point. And then also I tested an asphalt sprint car last year, and so hopefully we might be able to run maybe some dirt sprint car, some asphalt sprint car, and then just kind of get into a couple different things, kind of widen my experience up a little bit. I mean.
Well, that's I've been keeping up with you a little bit through the years. Well, the last couple years anyway. I know you drive for Jack Sellers. That's your car owner, Jack Sellers?
Yeah, that's the car team owner is Jack Sellers, and I really want to thank him and John Krebs, because I mean, without those two guys, I probably wouldn't be in the K&N series at all to begin with. Because Jack Sellers, my dad's been doing engines for Jack Sellers for about 30 years now, and so they've made a really good between them, and that's the main reasons what allowed me to be in the K&N series. And so yeah, I really want to thank Jack Sellers for everything he's done for me and my dad and allowing me to drive for his team.
All right, but your team is basically your dad and some guys that he put together for your team.
Well, yeah, there was already some crew members already working for Jack Sellers that have been working there with all the other drivers he's had. But then also we do supply some crew members for our half the team and everything, and people to work in the shop and go to the track and help out and everything. So, I mean, Jack is the one owning all the equipment and the trailer and everything. So, I mean, just Jack Sellers alone helps big time, and then just a couple little extra hands that we can bring to the table.
Well, Jack has a lot of experience. He's one of the legends in the West series out there. Mm-hmm. So I know you got a lot to pull from as far as he's concerned.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Jack's taught me many things when it comes to, saving tires, conserving the cars, when it comes to the mechanics of kind of like shifting and everything. I mean, Jack's not, the greatest driver of all time, but Jack's really taught me the key fundamentals and of really how to drive these cars and really how to be easy on equipment, but then still be able to be fast with the car. I mean, nothing's better than learning how to save a car to the last lap. I mean, you can have the fastest car in the world, and if you overdrive it, then it only lasts lap 50.
That's right.
He's taught me many things when it comes to saving brakes and tires and equipment and all that stuff that really adds up when you're racing 150 laps sometimes.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us about this 25-hour race that you were in at the end of the year. Well, it was in December, I believe.
Yeah, it was December. Well, that race was a blast. I mean, I got a ton of road racing experience by being in the car for a couple hours, and it was really good learning curve because I really had time to adapt to the track and adapt to the car. And the first maybe hour of driving, I was not pushing the car to its edge at all. I was kind of relaxing. I let all the cars that were faster than me by, and I didn't really pressure anybody too much. And then after the first hour is when I was really starting to drive the car harder, and I was starting to make a little bit riskier, but just a little more aggressive passes, and I was really pushing the car harder. And then towards the last couple laps of me in the race, I was really pushing the car to the edge, and I can really tell that I learned so much by just easing my way up on something rather than trying to go out there full speed the first, second lap and trying to make something happen. So I really want to thank all the guys that allowed me to run that 25-hour race, because that was probably one of the best learning experiences I could have in the road course racing.
Absolutely.
So where do you want to go in your racing career?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to make it to the NASCAR Cup cars. I mean, that's my number one goal. But I mean, I definitely want to race the rest of my life too. I mean, whether that's in the Cup cars or whether that's staying in the Canyon Series or running some sprint cars and maybe some drag cars here and there. I mean, definitely want to make it as high as I can in the NASCAR ranking. But I mean, my overall goal is just to maybe stay racing the rest of my life and making sure I'm behind the car, almost like Jack kind of is. I mean, he's as old as he is now, and he's still driving. I mean, I hope that I can be in the seat when I'm his age one day.
We don't like to use the word old.
Well, I mean,
Seasoned.
I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying that he has so much experience and so much time in a car that I hope that when I'm his age, I can have just as much.
Right. I was just aggravating you there.
So, now your grandfather, he builds the engines for you?
Yeah, my grandpa, my dad, and me as well, we build and dyno the engines that we supply for the cars. And I really want to thank my dad and my grandpa and all of the ranks Hutchison Racing, all the crew, all the workers there, because it does take a little bit of time and effort to put a really good engine together. And my dad and my grandpa has been doing an excellent job at that. And I really want to thank, the stuff they've done. And I've learned a ton, too, working on the engine. So not only are we getting a fast engine out of it, but I'm also getting a ton of experience when it comes to working on engines and cars, too, as well.
Well, that's a mark of a driver that I like, is somebody can get out and work on the car themselves and have a little experience, a little knowledge of what's going on with the car.
Definitely. I mean, I'm working about 3 or 4 days a week over at the race shop, and then whenever my dad needs help at his shop. And so it's giving me a ton of experience so that I can work on the car, but also it's kind of giving me kind of a better feel for the car so that I know kind of what adjustments we need to do with the car the way it's acting. I kind of can tell my crew chief almost what adjustments I think we need to make and compared to what adjustments he thinks we need to make so that we can make the car as best it can be. And without me knowing any of those things, I wouldn't be as good as feedback as I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you have some of those combination races where your K&N series combines with, let's say, the Cup series, do you ever get around some of the Cup drivers and talk with them?
Well, I've never actually driven with other Cup drivers other than Michael Waltrip, who ran the K&N series, K&N West Series 1 race. We did combine with the East Series, and those are probably a lot more competitive cars than what we run. And so driving with all the West cars and then a bunch of the East cars was a pretty good learning experience, because I got to see kind of what setups they ran and what things they were doing around the track, and kind of base that off of what we do on the track. And I really learned off of that, because it shows that even though we think we're top dollar over on the West side, that it shows that the East side is a lot more competitive than we are.
All right. Do you have any of the Cup drivers that you have talked to in the past that give you pointers or anything?
A couple here and there, but I mean more so my crew chief John Krebs has really been giving me a lot of pointers that I need, because he's an old school driver, and it really helps when you have an old school crew chief, because he knows exactly what's going on with the cars, because he's been working and driving with them so long. And he can tell me the little tricks and stuff that, like Jack can, when it comes to saving equipment and still running well. And so, I mean, everything that he's told me has really helped over the years.
Well, you got a lot of support from your family. How does your family feel about you racing?
Well, my family's 100% supportive about it. I mean, just coming from my whole family being racers, and then my my mom and my dad being really supportive about it. It really helps when all your family always is tuning in on the TV watching, and then they always got something to talk about when I see them, and it really makes me feel better that I know my whole family is behind me when it comes to all the racing that I'm doing.
So where is your first race this year?
First race is at Phoenix, Arizona, and it'll be actually with the same weekend as the Cup and the Nationwide run.
All right, now I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about you and thank your sponsors and everything while we have you on the line.
All right, well, I really want to thank, like I said, John Krebs and Jack Sellers, because, I mean, without them, I wouldn't be in the K&N car probably in the first place. And, of course, Rex Hutchison Racing Engines, I mean, without the family business, I may have never even been a driver to begin with. And I want to thank Bay Biodiesel. They were a huge help last year, and definitely hope they can stay aboard this year. iBox Springs for supplying us with springs and probably the best spring technology to date. AMSOIL for their excellent racing oil. All Valley Tow and Transport for their support through the years. I want to thank RVPlacement.com for all the help they can do this year, and also want to thank Johnny Walker Performance Center, and because I mean every year that I've raced, he's been sponsored by me, or he's sponsored me, and he's been on the hood of the car. But unfortunately, we will no longer be sponsored by him this year, but leaving an open spot on the hood. And so I'm always looking for new sponsors as well to represent, because sponsors can make all the difference when it comes to how race teams do. And then I want to thank my whole crew as well for all their hard work in the shop and at the track. And some of my crew doesn't even get paid for what they do. So I really want to thank just all the time and effort they put into helping me reach my goals.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show and talking with us and telling us a little bit about yourself. Keep us informed about what you have going on this year.
Say that one more time.
I said, keep us informed about what you have going on this year, so we'll know what's going on with you.
Oh, definitely. And I definitely want to thank everyone there at Let's Talk Racing, and I want to thank you, Jack, for having me. I also want to thank all my fans for all their support, and to be sure to visit my website at DylanHutchison.com and my fan page at Dylan Hutchison Racing on Facebook.
All right, well, we appreciate it, and I thank you for calling in, and we'll talk with you again.
All right, well, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Bye, Dylan.
See ya.
Just push line 2.
Let's talk racing. Got to hit speaker again.
No? You there, Jeremy?
Let's talk racing. Jeremy?
Hey, you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How's it going tonight?
Doing great. Can't complain at all. How you guys doing?
Doing real good. So what you got going on for this year? Anything new?
You know what? I wish I could tell you something new and exciting, but yeah, we're just planning on running the nationwide schedule again like we've done the past 2 years, the full season. So that's a big task to undertake for a small team, and I look forward to doing it for the third year and making it our best season yet.
All right, now you're a small team out of Spartanburg. Do you get any help from the other teams around there, like Phoenix and all those, to help you out some?
No, not really at all. I mean, Phoenix, they're a small team compared to, the Cup guys that they race against. They have help with Hendrick, though, but we get some help a little bit from Childress and stuff. My dad, my Uncle Glenn, they build engines for Austin and them and Dale for their dirt cars. So we kind of swap around. Here's an engine for a car or something like that. So we've done that numerous times, and they help us here and there. But those teams are not just gonna just give you all their secrets and stuff. So we got to figure it out on our own.
Where do you get your engines from?
We build them ourselves. My dad and them started Clements Racing Engines. Actually, my grandpa, Crawford,
Mm-hmm.
was a crew chief back in the 50s and 60s, and he started Clements racing in the 70s, and then my dad then took it over, and they're still building engines today. But my grandpa, he's the one that got me started racing when I was 7. And like I said, him and my Uncle Lewis, they were crew chiefs, and Lewis actually won a championship with Rex White in 1960 in NASCAR. So that was really neat. I mean, to say, you know, you're a part of that family. So, and then my grandpa, he won some races with numerous drivers like Buck Baker and Junior Johnson and Kelly Yarborough. So, pretty neat to look back at that stuff.
All right, being a small team like that, how's your sponsor situation for the coming year?
It's not the best for sure. We're obviously actively searching for sponsors right now. We have some here and there scattered about. You know, nothing big though, nothing full. It's super hard to get a sponsor. I'm sure you guys heard that 1,000 times, but it's tough out there, and it's typically like we get enough to just keep us going and keep the wheels going. So we could just get the money, the funding we need. We could really improve our effort.
Well, how does things look for Daytona? You got everything ready to go?
Yeah, our car is pretty much ready. We don't have the engine in it yet. We're still working on it and trying to make it the best it can be. And but yeah, everything's looking good. The thing is, though, like for Daytona, you got to be ready for Phoenix, Vegas, Bristol, and California, because they're, you know, right consecutively weeks after. So it's tough. It's a tough schedule. So we got to have all those cars ready to go.
How does your team handle the situation with going to like Phoenix and California in like consecutive weeks? I know your truck doesn't come all the way back. How do you do that?
Well, we just pretty much we take 2 cars with us, like always, and race the one at Phoenix. Then, you know, hopefully get out of there with no damage to it, and we'll make it our Vegas backup, and we'll have the Vegas primary in the trailer too. And we depend a lot on not wrecking anything. So we wrecked something at Phoenix. You know, we hadn't had to go through that problem yet, but we've got another car at the shop ready to go. I guess I might have to drive it out there on our other little trailer we got. So that's not a situation we want. So got to be careful at Phoenix. Race hard, but race smart, and bring that thing home in one piece so we can use it for a backup at Vegas. Because man, you never know what happened. But I mean, I tell you what, we drove out there. I've drove in the truck and trailer before. We got a toter home deal, and I mean we've done it. I've drove to California and back, and then go to Bristol the next week. I mean, you just gotta man up and do it.
It's tough for a small team to pull that off. How many people do you have working for you at the shop?
We probably have 5 or 6 full time. 5, maybe 5. Yeah, 5, and then we'll have a couple extra go with us.
So where do you get your pit? Do you have a pit crew of your own, or do you have somebody to come in to pit your car?
Yeah, we have somebody that comes in and pits it. We work with this with a guy, and he gets them all rounded up for us and does all that deal. So that's, you know, definitely a help for sure. But we got to obviously pay all those guys, so that's a big expense right there too.
So now I read somewhere in your bio that you used to do some testing for Joe Gibbs Racing. Yeah,
back in 08. Yeah, 08 and 09 and a little 2010, I did a lot there. It was right before they ended that testing ban. You know, you could test a lot back then at that point, and they had a full-blown test team and all that stuff, and I was kind of part of it, so that was really cool, and I loved it. And then they limited the testing, and, you know, they cut back a lot trying to save teams money, and now they're just starting to come back around with the testing a lot more, and which makes the teams obviously spend more money. So, for a driver, it's good because they need the Cup driver. They don't want to do all that testing, so they just get somebody else to do it.
Right, right, exactly. I know that one. Believe me.
So how much testing have you done? Any testing this year to get ready for the season, or?
No, I hadn't done anything. I would love to though, but we can't do it. Just to go out and test for a day. I mean, you're talking just for a day, just to spend 15 grand probably just to go test for a day. So I mean, we can't do that and still be able to go race. I mean, with all these expenses we have right now, as far as like buying licenses and getting all the drug tests and all the rule changes that were done, and it's just a mess. You got to spend a bunch of money at the beginning of the year.
So, when you go to the racetrack and on a race weekend, that's basically the all you get out of that as far as the testing and everything. It's got to be good to have somebody like Ricky Pearson and Eddie Pearson to help you out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the more knowledge, the better. We need all the help we can get. We're definitely at a disadvantage for sure, and any way we can overcome that, we try to. But I'm telling you, man, it's tough for a small team. We don't have all the notes. These guys have 2 and 3 car teams, and sometimes 4 car teams, and all the notes and the teammates to rely on, and all the technology and all that stuff. So I mean, even besides the money part, so it's tough.
You're talking about some of the rule changes that you had. What are some of the rule changes in the nationwide series for this coming year?
Well, for us, we had to, being a Chevrolet team, we had to change our nose and tailpiece to a Camaro for Daytona and Talladega, and then we have till 2014 to change them for the rest of the track. So changed a couple of cars for that, and they added some new roll bars in the cockpit, which was a kind of a pain to do all that. And then there's just a lot of smaller stuff, like there's tethers being added in the rear where the rear springs and shocks are, and just added safety measurements like that. A few other little odds and ends, but all that stuff adds up. And we had to change windshield. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but I'm trying to skim through them. But we had to change our windshields too, because I think they said Morgan Shepherd's windshield last year got busted or something happened, and it's like a stronger type of material now. But they're about $1,000 for a windshield. So before it's just Lexan, and you could make one pretty cheap. So and now we gotta buy those. That's an added expense, and so that's not good.
So with the front ends that you have for the new Camaro or whatever you said on the front, are those standard pieces coming from NASCAR?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's really just the nose and the tail. I mean, besides that, there's no difference. The quarter window is a little different, but like I said, besides that, there's no difference. So it's just an added expense. I mean, we took a car that didn't need any body work done whatsoever. It was perfectly fine, and had to get the nose and the tail reshaped or redone, and the quarter windows and stuff. And by the time you got the parts to do it, and paid the guy to do it, you're spending a good $7,000-8,000 just to for nothing, kind of, in my opinion.
So with that said, that you had to make those changes to cars that were completely that you really didn't have to change. Do you see where that's going to be a money saving situation later on down the road, or do you see that just as more expense?
No, I just see that as more expense, because I think they should have came out with the Camaro for Chevrolet teams at first, and now we wouldn't have to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of a headache now. But that's what Chevrolet wants. So I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, it's tough on a team to have to make those type changes.
Yeah, every year there's a lot of changes in NASCAR, and it definitely makes it tough on a smaller team. Spending money. I can't imagine what the Cup teams are having to go through. Changing all those cars, and that's lot of money they're having to spend, but they're well prepared for it, and you know, they got a ton of people, so it's a lot different. But in my opinion, NASCAR could, you know, they could be a little easier going on us. They don't really care. They don't look at nothing. They just say, you know, we're going to change this, change that. They don't look at the, okay, it's going to cost these guys this and that. They don't. It's just, it's their game, and we're just the players, pretty much.
That's the way it normally is. Do you all get any engineering from anywhere other than just yourselves?
No. I mean, I know some crew chiefs, and I can go talk to occasionally, and they'll point me in the right direction if we're kind of out in left field. But no, we don't even have an engineer, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty. It's kind of funny because we've done pretty decent for, you know, being at such a disadvantage. So pretty pleased with that for sure. Because I know we could do a lot better if we had what we needed.
I mean, you had some good qualifying runs last year towards the end of the season. You were doing really good in qualifying.
Yeah, and honestly, that was just a fact of we got in that Childress car. We pretty much just run cars that are older cars to the big teams, like Childress. We got a lot of their cars. So that was one of the newer ones, and we started running it at Indy. Was the first race, and we finished 10th with it. And then and I think we ran again at Kentucky, and we qualified, I don't remember, 15th or something, and finished right at the top 15. And every time we run that car, it was just really good, you know. And we qualified 11th with it at Kansas. Was running good. Qualified 13th at Texas. I mean, just a lot of good stuff with that thing, and that's definitely our best piece. And the only reason is just because it's an updated car from them, you know.
So you basically you get all your cars from Childress, then.
Yeah, exactly. And then we try to implement from what we see on that car to our other cars to make them just as good as that one. But usually that don't work.
So how many cars do you have in your fleet for a season to get started on the season?
Six right now, but they're not all fully put together. We're probably going to have four fully put together at the start of the season, and then the other two would kind of, you know, put parts on and, you know, take them off the other cars if we need to run them. So that's how we start out.
That's a tough way to get to start out the season like that, especially when you got to make those long trips.
Yeah, I mean, that we're a lot better. We're in the best situation we've been yet, and you're saying that. So, like in 2011, when we started with these new cars they have now, we had one car, and we did the first 3 or 4 races with it, and then got another one, and just, you know, we had 2 cars till like the middle of the season, till Daytona. So I mean, it's been. You know, we just try to acquire what we can when we can. If that makes sense.
So to be one of the probably the most underfunded teams in the nationwide series, you had 2 top 10s last year. You did pretty decent with that.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, our goal was to finish top 10 in points, and we really could have had that, but we self-destructed, I would say, at the end of the year just because we were breaking crankshaft. We broke 2 crankshafts, Kansas and Phoenix, running real good, and we just our parts were just wore out, you know, and it was a factor of not having the money to buy the newer stuff to replace them, and just trying to get the most out we could out of it. So that's the way it was, you know. And going into Bristol or Montreal, we were like 19 points behind Danica. Right. And she was 10th at the time. We were 12th, and I was like, oh man, we can do this. We can really do this. And like I said, then we just had all those, we had a few DNS, and that killed it.
Well, that's the hard part of trying to stay in the top 10. Y'all don't have the points situation anymore as far as being locked in. How you feel about that?
What did you say? We don't, or what did you say?
You don't. I mean, this year didn't they change the point stands about being locked in? in the races you have to qualify in?
Not for us. It's pretty much the same thing. For Nationwide, it's the top 30 is locked in, and then 31st through 40th have to qualify in on time. And that's it. They did take limit the field from 43 to 40, so to try to limit the starting parts, which this year there's a lot. There seems like there's a few more cars from the big teams coming in, so it's kind of like I don't really know why they did that because there's more cars being added now, so I don't think there'd be many starting parts at all this year. I think there's going to be a really good field of cars, all through the field.
I do too. I think it's going. You're going to have some cars going home this year.
Yeah.
Agree. It's going to be tough, and they do the points for the first 3 races, so we're locked in the first 3 instead of the first 5 now, and then they do the points from the current season on the 4th race for Nationwide. I don't know about the Cup stuff.
Well, tell us a little bit about Ricky Pearson as a crew chief. How do you get along with him?
I love Ricky, man. He helped me out when I started, when I first came into ARCA. He came and helped us then, and back in like 2002. And I met him then, and he's local with us, and that helps. And he's a heck of a guy. I love him to death. We've slept together on the toter numerous times, side by side. We pretty much do it all together. So it's good to have a crew chief like that and a guy you can depend on anytime. And I love to pull practical jokes on him. It was his birthday yesterday, and he got to the shop, and I went and bought this air horn at Walmart, and he was getting something in the refrigerator. And I went up, snuck up behind him, and blew the air horn right in his ear and scared the crap out of him. It's pretty funny. Just little stuff like that I like to do. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight. And you have any sponsors, anything you want to thank, or anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
I want to thank Bill and Tina Smallwood, and let's see, kind of caught me off guard. I'm trying to think of the people that helped us out last year and hopefully help us out again. Jim Curry and those guys, and Jim Seeley from U.S. Petroleum. I want to thank those guys. Really appreciate all they've done. And Carolina Collision out of Gaffney, South Carolina. They paint our cars and have done a great job and saved us a lot of money. So thank them. But thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it, and hope you watch this season and cheer me on some now.
Well, I'll make sure I run into you again down at Richmond when I'm down there, Jeremy.
Yeah, sounds great.
Well, good luck to you. Hope you have a good Daytona and a good couple weeks after that, too.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all take care.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're definitely a throwback race team.
Right.
Because
right.
I've been to their shop. It's totally thrown back.
Yeah.
It's nothing compared to some of these other teams, and
yeah.
I don't know how they managed to get through it. And
they just work hard. They just. I was really pulling for him last year when he was. I remember him talking about he was 12th, and I kept up with the points. And I was really pulling for him to beat Danica because she just needed to be beat. Yeah. Yeah. I was hoping Joe Nemechek would sneak in there and get her in the end, but they just couldn't.
I see where Joe Nemechek and Jay Robinson have merged this year,
Right.
so that's going to be
that'll be good.
And he's going to cut back on his nationwide.
Yeah.
You saw this here about Brian Keselowski?
Yeah, I was telling you about that a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got him a sponsor, Wreath Across America.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to work out, considering they've been running the fan program.
Fan program is still going to be on the car.
Because I was talking to them the other day. I was going to send them out a check and put Let's Talk Racing on there.
Right.
The fan program is still going to be on there. Of course, they joined together with Hamilton Means Racing, and I think they got a good sponsor package for Daytona.
Right.
So
right. Well, I hope he does good. You know, hope he does good down there.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does. He's worked. Absolutely.
You going to call your son?
Well, I mean, I don't know his number.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
It's pretty bad. I could go look it up on caller ID.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that because I don't have it on here. He changed his phone number on me.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Good deal. It was a good show tonight. Had an eclectic group of drivers on.
Well, this guy Dylan Hutchison that we talked to,
Right.
I have kind of gotten to where I keep an eye on him
Right.
through his racing.
Right.
For some reason, he just came and just made an impression on me from talking with him and
Sure.
everything. And I
Sure.
talked with his mother a couple times, and he's a great kid. He's working his way to
Right.
it, and
Right.
I thought he needed a break, maybe to get his name out a little bit over here.
Right. Right.
I know he wants to come this way to race someday. I would really like to see him come over here to race because I think to get in a better situation. Not to saying that they're not what they've
Sure.
got is not good, but I think he would be in a better situation coming here and racing with the K&N series.
He would. He absolutely would. Just have to figure out how to get his finances working to do that. Yeah.
But it's like everybody else. Everybody's having trouble with sponsors right now.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, I'm
They
talked to
are.
a lot of guys when I was in Charlotte, and it's really tough. I mean, when you have a guy like Dale Earnhardt Jr. that has 13, 14 races that he don't even have a sponsor
Exactly.
for. That's unbelievable to me.
And Gordon's just right on that little. They're on the cusp there too.
Well,
they're really struggling.
And DuPont got bought out this week.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. You don't know, even though they say they're going to stay with
Yeah.
him in racing, you don't know how that's going to turn out sooner or later down the road. I'm hearing through the grapevine that Lowe's is going to pull out after this year.
I've heard the same thing.
So I mean, Mr. Hendrick's going to have a hard time with trying to field all his cars if they don't have the sponsorship. So that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on everybody.
Yeah, it's just tough all the way around. And the thing about it doesn't seem like it, even if you have a super package to bring to the media and sell, it's still the sponsors just can't really come up with the degree of money it takes to compete at that level. Danica's kind of like the anomaly, but they've sold her as a celebrity versus a competitor. So
Lee Jackson on line 1.
all right.
Let's talk racing.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Isn't that Lee Jackson or something like that?
That is Jackson Lee the second. That's my racing hero right there.
All right.
Yeah, we're me and my buddy that came over, he used to work with at Phoenix, is over here. We're just watching a little basketball.
Watching a little basketball.
Oh yeah, we're watching Baylor and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least it's not North Carolina State.
Yeah, nobody's really watching them now, dude.
Uh-oh.
They're having a rough time the last couple weeks. Now I want to ask you a question. Okay?
Yeah.
How's things going with your new job?
They're going good, man. This is a little bit different territory coming from a small team to a big team. It's a little bit to get used to, but I've enjoyed it. I'm ready to get to Daytona.
And have a chance to win when you get there is what you're after.
That's the main thing. I want to ring. I got some goals in life, and to win the Daytona 500 is one of them. Championship would be the second. So I'm ready to get down there. I'm tired of working in the shop. I'm ready to get down there and actually get to work.
And where does Dad fall in that?
I hope he can come to some races. I hope you can get him in the track anytime.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate you calling in and talking to us. We finished talking to Jeremy Clements. I know you know him well.
Oh yeah, I know him from working down there in Spartanburg. I know of him. We spoke in passing in the garage when we used to run the Nationwide car last year with Kurt and everything. So kind of know a little bit of him. He knows me. He don't probably know my name, but he knows my face. So that's probably a cool thing.
That's usually the way most of it is. Everybody knows the face, but putting a name to it, that's the hard part.
I'm the worst one for that.
That is. That's the worst part for me. I know a lot of faces in the garage, but I can't put many names with faces. That's not a big problem.
I started cheating with the smartphone now. If I got somebody's name, I take a picture of them and put it with it.
That's right. That's right. I should do that. That's probably a good way to remember some people.
And you got Josh over there with you tonight?
Yeah, Josh is over here. He got off a little late. He's getting ready for the shootout. So he instead of driving back to Spartanburg, he usually stays over here once or twice a week. So instead of driving all the way back an hour and a half, he's going to hang out here with us for the night.
Well, I heard that they've been having a lot of sickness over there at Stewart Haas Racing, so are they caught up on everything over there?
Yeah, one of the setup guys, he said, got sick. Had to go to the hospital. He's in ICU. I'm not really sure what he's got, but I think he got a little sick at work. He's been gone for about a week. I think a week tomorrow. So that kind of spread kind of thing. I think flu and stuff like that. That's floating around here.
Well, I appreciate you calling and talking to me, and we'll talk to you sometime soon.
Know what teams you work for?
Oh, well, I'm
Jeez,
sorry.
Come
I'm
on
sorry.
now. You're just talking Papa to son.
I know. Okay, I
this is a show. You got to at least tell everybody who he is, what he does. Goodness, give him a race resume.
Right. Go ahead and tell them who you are and who you're working for and everything.
Well, I'm your son, obviously, and work at Michael Walter Bracing on the 15, do front suspension, on the road, travel mechanic. I just started December 3rd, so I've been there for a little over a month. And I used to work at 51 at Phoenix Racing for 3.5 years, and I worked at Wood Brothers to start off when I was like 18 years old. Started at Wood Brothers and worked there for about 2 years. So I've been to a couple of big teams.
Well, that's where you got started, and you were also around here running the Hooters Cup cars.
Yeah, we ran Hooters Cup Cup. I was with the team on a small team. I've been on small teams pretty much majority, except the Wood Brothers and now. But we ran the Hooters Cup car for like 6 or 7 months out of Chesapeake, and got a job with the Wood Brothers because they knew our driver really well, and got in pretty tight with them. Worked there for 2.5 years, and then got a job down there with Phoenix. That's a ton of drivers. I know a ton of drivers in the garage. And now with a bigger team, which is good. Life is good right now.
Well, the bigger teams, I'm sure, are keeping you busy then that way.
Oh, yeah. It's a little bit way. They run their operation a little different than usual. It's not a small car team like I'm used to. They got big-time sponsors and a lot of people. Probably people I'll never meet. And when I worked there, as many people as there work there. I think it's like 275 people. So there's a lot of people there that I'll never meet. But still, life is good right now.
Well, that's good.
Now, aren't you on Facebook somewhere?
No.
What's that?
Why aren't you on Facebook?
Well, we have a Facebook, and man, I got to be no too busy to keep up with it. And my girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, she's got a full-time job, and I got a full-time job. It's kind of hard to keep up with a lot of things. So we kind of stick to our phones, and when people call, we kind of do it that way, or write postcards or whatever. But we kind of get off the Facebook social environment. Got to be more of a problem than what we used to, so we stick to our phones pretty heavily.
Well, I'll have to help your dad out and at least give you your new phone number to him.
Yeah, I've switched phone numbers a lot since I've been down here, so I think this one will be good to stay with for a while. I've had this one for probably long enough. I've had a phone number since I lived here, so I think you probably can have this one in your phone and probably get a hold of me.
All right, well, we'll talk to you later.
All right, Dad, I love you.
Love you. Talk to you later.
Oh, that's right.
All right, bye.
I like that.
That's my racing hero.
Absolutely. I'm sure you're his hero too. So.
Yeah, we're kind of tight, and
yeah.
It's he keeps me involved in stuff, so
Cool.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, alrighty.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the show tonight, and we will catch y'all back next weekend, ready to rock and roll.
Ciao.
See you later.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota Nascar Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Here's your 2011 champion, David Brehm.
Hi, this is David Clements, driver of the 33 NASCAR Late Model, 2011 Old Dominion Speedway Track Champion. Thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driving the 42 car. I want to thank Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler Built Seats, Bell Helmets, Hooker Harness Seatbelts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.